Welcome to Manhwa Recaps, spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. Huge shout out and special thanks to the channel members. The series starts in the northern border of the Croesus kingdom. We see a man with an army behind him, and this is the lord of the northern frontier, named Ducal. He says this is unbelievable. As we see what they're up against is none other than zombies, he says that the number of undead is beyond his imagination. Also there is a terrifying poison mist with them. One of the men tells the Duke to look over, as there is an undead knight, Durian. Even 10 high-ranking knights fighting to the death couldn't guarantee victory against him. He says with their forces right now, they definitely can't win, so they should retreat and prepare for a siege. But the Duke says that they can't. The northern wall has already fallen. If the city gate breaks too, this nation is finished. No matter the sacrifice, they have to hold them back today. Somebody rides past him, charging straight forward, and the Duke asks who that is charging in so recklessly. His men tell him that is Lord Urun Rocks, sent here from the southern Marquisate of Rocks. As Urun throws out some attacks from his hands, the Duke says that that is the one who fights with the daggers, but his opponent is Durian, and there's no way the daggers would do anything, as it would be impossible to kill him. But we see it actually having an effect as Durian's skin begins melting, and he begins screaming in pain. And the Duke and his knight are surprised that he's melting, asking how in the hell this is possible. Urun throws out 3 more daggers, each one piercing one of the zombies in the head, before it too begins melting. They ask what's going on for the zombies to be melting away in a single strike, saying that maybe he's a saint sent by the heavens. Urun says not to make him laugh with that shitty title, but there's one good reason as to why he can do this. We see he actually has a status window, and he's using something called the Firebone Mountain, and the reason he can absorb the miasma is due to his 10,000 poison absorption technique. He starts gaining experience, and he says that he's just been farming skills all for himself. We get a flashback to 6 months earlier, as we see him waking up. He asks where he is, and a woman asks if he's finally awake. He's surprised to see her, wondering what a beauty is doing in his room. He says that her clothes are strange, and she has a sword at her waist. She asks if he feels okay, and before he answers, she says she'll call the priest. He tells her to wait, but he says that he wanted to ask her something. She dips, and he can't believe that she just left like that. He then wonders where he is. He then spots something out of the corner of his eye, and it's a mirror, and he stands up before it, asking what's going on. He wonders what happened to his body, saying that he used to be sexy in middle age, and now he looks like some fat-ass little kid. He says that he can't figure this out, asking if he is in a dream. He says that if he goes back to sleep, then maybe he'll wake up. The priest then enters. We see a noble man approaching him, calling out to him, saying that he is the disgrace of this household, and he can't believe he's just now decided to wake up. He wonders who this scary old man is, and the priest says that the young master has only just woken up, so he should save the punishment for later. The dude looks annoyed, as he pouts off to his side. The priest says that for someone who fainted, he isn't badly hurt, and his mind seems stable, and most of the injuries have healed, which is a relief. The noble says not to make him laugh, as it would have been better if he had died, assaulting his fiancée cowardly, and that not even a beast would do so, and he should be ashamed of himself. He tells him that he's already 19 years old, and it's about time he grew the hell up. Even his younger brother has already awakened his aura, and he, the eldest, just gets fatter by the day. He wonders what he means by aura, and the noble, who is his father, begins walking away, saying that once he's recovered, he should go straight to her and apologize properly. He asks who he's talking about, and he reminds him that he needs to go talk to his fiancée Elia, because if she doesn't forgive him, he's finished. Then he asks if he understands, and he says yes, sir. In any case, he shouldn't disgrace the Rocks family anymore, and this is where we learn that this is Urun. He's surprised, asking if he is truly Urun Rocks, and he realizes who this must be, asking him if he is the Marquis, Wellington Rocks. His father, Wellington, starts to get pissed that he's calling him by his first name, and gives him the front hand, asking how dare he call his father by his name. Urun's eyes start to go white as he falls down onto the ground. The priest and the maid start calming him down, and Urun says this can't be happening, and there's no way, and this has to be a dream. His vision goes to black, and when he opens them again, he sees the same ceiling, and jolts awake. He asks why the hell he's not waking up from this dream. The woman from earlier approaches him, asking if he's awake again. He then recognizes her, asking if she is Erin. She says yes, and he starts trying to wrap his head around it. He asks if the reason he's lying here is because he went after Elia and got beat up and passed out. She says that's not exactly it, but wonders why he's being so formal. He then quickly changes it, and awkwardly asks the same question, and she says yes. He attacked Lady Ilya here, and she beat him senseless until he fainted. He says this shit is awful, and she wonders what's wrong with him. Yurun says that he is absolutely screwed. It's clear now, somehow, that he's ended up inside of the web novel he wrote, not even as the protagonist, but as the trash villain who picks a fight with the hero, and dies miserably. He grits his teeth, saying he refuses to believe this is happening. Aaron asks if he's okay, and he starts screaming, saying this isn't even a webtoon, and she asks what that even is. He begins crying, saying that the person he's possessed, to put it simply, is a scumbag. He has no talent, no skill, and never trains. He just leeches off his family's name as the heir, got fat as hell, and lost his fiancée to the protagonist. And in a fit of anger, he attacked him from behind, only to get beaten down, and eventually dies in some back alley, which is a pitiful death. He says that in a world this uncertain, he wonders how he's meant to survive. While this is a fantasy world, he doesn't know what abilities he has, but he says that he knows about the chances and items the protagonist hasn't found yet, and that he needs to prepare fast. He has trouble standing up, saying that he forgot how fat this body is, and Aaron asks if he's okay. He says of course not, and then sees something above her. She says that he should still be resting, and then he loses sight of what he saw. He wonders what it was, and then he starts frowning, saying maybe that's the trigger. And then a status window appears directly beside her, and he sees her traits, as well as her affection. She asks if he's okay, and he says that he must have gone crazy for a second, telling her to go take care of her task. She says yes sir, and he watches as she leaves, saying that it makes sense that she has the swift sword trait, as he set her up to be stronger and more talented than regular knights. But he wonders what the affection stat is, and asks if he's in a dating sim of his novel. He says that it would make sense, because he only really played dating sims before, but he always played the weird ones involving his sisters. He admits he's a freak, but he wonders who the hell put him in here, and cooked this up. He says that at least the affection is a negative, and that this is a good start. Considering his normal behavior, he has a chance. He then realizes that's not really the point he should be focusing on, and he stares at himself in the mirror, getting an idea. He then starts to lock in, and his status window appears. He gets excited, and we see his special condition is morbid obesity. His trait is Eye of the Creator, and the Tang Clan Venom Arts. His sync rate is also almost 100%. He says among them one stands out, it's the Tang Clan Venom Arts, and that is from another webtoon that he loved, that had a very hot heroine. She utilized a martial art that involved poison, and hidden weapons, to take care of anybody who pissed her off. He says this world's lore is such a mishmash of random things in his life, but then gets excited seeing that he can actually learn the Tang Clan Venom Arts, and this is his ticket to survival. Of course, if you don't know about the Tang Clan, they are a renowned martial sect from the Four Heaven provinces, and in a lot of Chinese novels, and just most Murim things. They are known for researching various poisons, and specializing in assassinations using hidden weapons coated in venom. He wonders what else he's gonna be able to learn, but it jumps to his father being called out to by Aaron. He asks if his son's gotten up yet, and she says that he woke up a while ago. He asks how he looks, and she says that he doesn't seem normal yet. He stumbled when he tried to stand, and his body's in poor condition. Wellington says that the priest Alyo said his wounds weren't very deep though, says that's odd, asking her if she thought he was acting a little strange. Normally if he told him to apologize to Ilya he'd throw a fit, but strangely he just said yes. His personality can't have changed, so surely he's just in a daze right now. By tomorrow he'll probably be raging, swearing revenge on her. She says that she thinks he will recover step by step. This catches him off guard, and he starts laughing. She wonders what he finds so amusing, and he says that even he, his father, has given up on him, but she still believes, that he almost feels bad for her. Now he should have just let her live her life as a knight, and he begins laughing, saying that it must be so hard to be under him. She doesn't know how to really explain it to him, but says that today he felt different somehow, and it's hard to explain. We hear her yelling, asking what he said he was gonna do, and he says that he wants to exercise a bit, saying that he wants her to guide him to the training hall. She asks why he wants to train right now, and he asks if that's meant to be a problem. Due to his Eye of the Creator, it allows him to view stats, but as for unlocking the Tang Clan's martial arts, he has no idea. He says maybe it's because of his obesity, but for now he's actually gonna exercise and find out a way. He says that just the mansion garden alone is the size of several stadiums combined, and he's already exhausted from walking, but if he tries working out in his room, he'll just feel like a lazy pig, and just fall back asleep. He's definitely not cut out for home workouts. The house hands spot him, and he says that every servant he has bumped into so far has had a really strong dislike for him, and it's very obvious that not a single person in this estate likes him at all. He wonders what exactly happened, and he says that considering how much of a bastard he is, he can't really blame them. After a bit he asks if they're there, and she says almost. This is the third training hall. Most knights use the first and second. He says that somebody is here, and we see that this guy has a killing urge, because his affinity is almost -100. Yu-run gets a little scared, and this guy's name is Reika Lion. He's trained in the quicksword, and he's asked if the young master is really here himself. He smiles, asking what brings him to the training hall. Yu-run yells out his name, and the dude laughs, saying that it's an honor that he still remembers him. Yu-run says of course, and then whispers into Aaron's ear, asking if something happened between the two of them. She asks if he really doesn't remember a few years ago, when the Marquis forced him to train. Yu-run, who was furious about it, called over Reika, who was here as a trainee knight, and he scarred his face with the sword while laughing, and that's how he's got that scar across his nose. After that, his father gave up on him, trying to make him train. Yu-run says there's no way, right? Reika glares at him, and Yu-run says he can't believe how shitty this character was, and he wonders why he wrote him so poorly, but he says that they should go back. She asks if he's really giving up, and he just asks if there's another training hall, preferably one he can use alone. She says that there's the fourth hall, but it's so far, and the facilities are poor, it's mostly just an empty field. He says that sounds perfect, and that if he's gonna lose weight, he'll do it properly. She then says to follow her, and she takes him to it. He's very gassed out from the walk, but as he gets a better look, he says that the Tang clan specializes in throwing knives and small weapons. He picks up one of the daggers, and heads over to the arena across from some target dummies. He raises his dagger up, and then puts it behind his shoulder before yeeting the hell out of it forward. It doesn't even make it to the targets, and bounces off the floor, and he says that he thought he could unlock it. She wonders what the hell he's doing, and he says that he just threw one for fun. He begins laughing. He says that he's gonna build his basic stamina first, and he's gonna run laps around the hall. He tells her that he'll train on his own, so she can do whatever she wants. She ends up telling his father about this, after she didn't know how to explain it. His father says that it was strange he would go to the training grounds, but doesn't think it'll last long. 3 weeks later, he says that Yu-run has yet to skip out on training, and that he seems to have lost a lot of weight, and even his appearance has changed a lot. But as expected of his son, without the fat he's pretty handsome. He wonders if he's actually finally matured. We see him looking in the mirror, and he sighs, saying that while he's slimmed down a lot, he's still a little pudgy. He says that the Tang clan trait still refuses to unlock. He's gonna give it a month, and if it doesn't, he'll just steal the fateful encounter meant for the protagonist. Aaron tells him that she's brought dinner, and he thanks her. And it's called chi and soup, and it's something that's really good for burning fat and building muscle, and in their family it's customary to eat it after every training session. He's annoyed that it's the same thing again, and she asks if he's finally tired of it. He says of course, he's been eating nothing but this for 3 weeks straight. She then in a very cold tone calls out to him, asking if he only wants to lose weight, or to become a knight. He says that he wants to become a knight, and she tells him in this territory even his father still eats this soup after training, so he should stop complaining, and eat his damn soup. He says okay, and wonders what kind of outdated boomer custom this is, but says that it's helped him lose weight, so he's just gonna deal with it for now. As he raises his spoon up, and puts it into his mouth, he wonders what this is, and he says that the soup today tastes a little bit different. The status window then appears, saying that he has ingested poison, but then it updates once more, and he has finally unlocked his condition for the Tang clan's martial arts. He's a little shocked, asking if this is really how it's meant to be unlocked, but then says that kinda makes sense. Back to Yu-run's father. There's a knock on his door, and he tells them to enter. He sees his wife, who says that she brought him some tea. This is his second wife, Kaina. She asks what he's looking at so intently, and he says that he was just thinking the garden looks beautiful. She says that she's been personally taking care of it with great attention. He says that her skills sure are great, and then she hugs him from behind, asking if he will be choosing Colin as his heir like he mentioned before. Since it's already been decided anyway, it would be better to do it quickly as well. He can tell that she's trying to rush things, and says that he hates to tell her this, but that might take a little more time. She looks surprised, asking what he means, because he said last time that Colin would be named heir within this month. He says that he did, but as she's probably heard, it seems that Yu-run has finally come to his senses, and he is still the eldest son of the family. If he really applies himself, he could turn out to be a great successor. She says it's true that she's heard about him, and she was so worried, but thankfully he seems to have sobered up at last, and that must be a relief to him too. He says indeed, to think he got smacked by his fiancée, and finally woke up, that boy. She asks what he's going to do about the successor now, and he says that Yu-run has only been training for 3 weeks, and he thinks it's better to watch longer, but he promises her that if he goes back to his old ways, he'll immediately give the heir title to Colin instead. She says that she'll head to the bedroom first, and he should finish work quickly and come over. As soon as she exits the room, she's obviously pissed. She can't believe that Yu-run is trying to steal her son's spotlight. Back to Yu-run though, he says that it does make a ton of sense for him to get it from ingesting poison, but also there was a drop-down arrow at the bottom left corner of the text about the soup, and as soon as he looks at it, it begins scrolling. He says that he didn't know that would happen, and it even shows all the ingredients that it's made out of, and one of them is called the Han-yang herb, which is a very mild toxin. It's harmless to adults in small amounts, but if it builds up, it'll slowly paralyze the body until they die. Aaron sees him not eating, wondering what's wrong, and asks if he's not going to finish his food. He gets caught off guard, and says that he'll eat, and starts shoving it into his mouth, and as he does, he says that he's a little confused, wondering who could have put poison in here, as normally he's not killed by poison, and that something has changed in the flow, and now that he thinks of it, something that should have already happened hasn't, and it's around this time that the second son, Colin, is supposed to be officially named heir, but it hasn't happened yet, and he wonders if it's because he started training, and says that whoever put poison in the food is probably from that side of the family. He continues eating it as the status window updates, saying that the weak paralysis poison unlock condition has been met. He tells Aaron that he finished all of it, and that it was so good it brought him to tears. She wonders why the hell he's crying, and he says that he wants some alone time, asking if she could step out. She says yes, and that he should rest because she'll see him tomorrow. He tells her good night, and then as soon as she does, he goes to the mirror, and says that it's time to check it out. He starts to open his status window, and we see that he has the Tang family's martial arts. Also, for some reason his sync rate has gone down. He starts focusing on the Tang family's martial arts, and it expands, as we see that he has the hidden weapons and martial arts portion unlocked, as well as the poison, but there are 2 more that are locked. He then starts focusing on the poison one as it opens up. We see that level 1 is his weak paralysis poison, and they continue on. While it's unlockable, it's unavailable, as it requires inner technique. He says that there sure are a lot of poisons in here, and he wants to scroll to the bottom. It's called the Invisible Ultimate, and this is the final poison available, which means he has to unlock every other one first, and it's a level up unlock system. He says for him to get the most basic one, he needs an inner technique, but it makes sense, as they use internal energy to wield poison. He opens up the martial arts, and he has multiple options to choose from. This is an easy choice, especially for a fan of Muram novels. Dark Poison Arts focuses on poison. Thunder Needle Arts focuses on hidden weapons. And 10,000 Venom Divine Energy takes longer to master, but allows you to reach mastery in both of them together. He says the more the better, and that's how the protagonists always are. He chooses that one, and instantly starts to feel refreshed, as if his body became lighter, and he says this is unbelievable. The mantras of the technique just engrave themselves into his mind, and he says he needs to start circulating right away to figure it out. He takes off his shirt, and sits down focusing on his lower dantian. He says that he feels a strange flow throughout his body, and this must be key. He starts guiding it through his meridians, as he's storing it into his dantian to build internal strength. Night passes, and the next morning comes, and he's still meditating in his bed. He says this is amazing. All those martial arts novels weren't lying about training all night without sleep, and it's real. He doesn't feel tired in the slightest. In fact, his whole body feels full of energy, and he can even sense the flow of chi around him. He can tell how many birds are outside the window without even looking. He feels a solid warm energy in his dantian as well, and now if he circulates chi to his head, he can check his stats without the use of a window. He then senses a familiar aura outside the door, and he stares at it for a second before Aaron enters, saying that she came to wake him, but his bedding looks untouched, asking if he didn't sleep. He says it just turned out that way. She says that's not good, and he should rest instead of training today. He says that he's gonna do it, as he feels great, and like he's in top condition, so he needs to train. She says okay, and that she'll go make up some breakfast. She leaves the room, wondering when he started gaining muscle. Back out to the training hall, he walks over to the table of weapons once more, and says that it really is true. He picks up the dagger, and instantly it feels different, as what he sees in front of him catches him completely off guard, because he sees a crosshair like inside of an FPS game. He says that he'll aim precisely at the target, and he raises it up like last time, and she wonders why he's doing this again, but he throws it down full force, and it flies straight into the target, and he says that he got it now. She's confused on why it actually worked, and now he has completed the unlock for the hidden weapons. Eren is confused, asking how the hell he did that. He says he doesn't know either. He guesses the results of the past month's training are starting to show, and she says there's no way, that's not how that works. He says it's the first time he's seen her look so flustered, asking if he should try one more time. He raises the dagger up to his face, and says that when he throws something, it feels like a fiery inner energy surges up from his lower abdomen. He says that this is good, and this time he'll focus on being even faster and stronger. He locks his crosshair on, and throws it forward, and it pierces deeper this time into the dummy, but also begins to crack it. Eren screams, saying that he just broke the target board. Yurun says honestly, having a crosshair from an FPS game appear is basically like a cheat code. Back in his day, he used to play Counter-Strike at a pretty professional level. She asks what the hell is going on, and he asks if she can feel anything from him. She asks what exactly he means, but she thinks about it, saying that other than the fact that he's lost quite a bit of weight since yesterday, she can't really say. He asks what she means by lost a lot of weight since yesterday, and she says that of course he's been losing weight steadily since he's been dedicated to it, but today he is noticeably different compared to yesterday. He asks if she's certain, and says that he finds it weird she can't sense the inner energy flowing through his body, which means that in this world only he can use it most likely, and no one else will be able to detect it. Since she's a pretty strong knight, it means he's gained a pretty incredible power. He laughs, asking if he should keep practicing, and he starts throwing the daggers one after the other, never missing. He then says this time he'll up the ante, and hits the back of his old dagger with his new one, and he says this is perfect. Eren is audibly gasping, asking if she can try it once. He says okay. She picks it up, and then throws it forward just like he has. She misses, and then misses again, and he says that he's surprised to see there's something she can't do, and laughs at her. She gets embarrassed, and then he realizes something, and opens his status window. We see that he unlocked the ability to throw anything rather than only daggers. He asks if it really means any weapons, and walks back over to the weapon rack. He says he should try it with this, and tells her to step aside for a moment. She asks why he's holding on to that, as he has a broken training sword. He raises it into the air, and says that he can feel a lot of inner energy flowing from the dantian on down into the arms, and he throws it forward using the straight cut, and it flies straight into the target board. She asks what the hell is going on, saying that this power is unreal. He says that he's not really sure, and that maybe his practice really is just paying off, and she says that's literally just not how it works. He says that he knows that she reports his affairs to his father, but he has a favor to ask, asking if she can keep this a secret for the time being. She tries to tell him that's not a good idea, and he says right now he's testing several things, and that he'll explain everything to his father later, so just wait. Reluctantly, she agrees. That night, as all the servants are heading to their quarters, we see one of them named Peru, who says he'll see everybody tomorrow. As he begins walking away, he gets further and further, before Yurun appears around the corner. He uses his skill to open his status window, and we see that his trait is Poisonous Touch, and Agile Movement. Yurun says that's a trait that lets him put poison in food, and this is definitely the guy. He says this is his real test. He points an imaginary arrow directly at the back of Peru, and uses his paralytic poison. As he starts to feel it channel up at the top of his fingertips, it starts to shoot out towards him as a mist. As it gets closer, he instantly feels it, as he can't move his body anymore, and he starts to have a panic attack. He falls onto the floor, and Yurun says this is a success. He can also even see the duration, and picks him up, saying that he needs to move him first. He heads to a storage area, and Peru begins to come too. Yurun tells him to snap out of it, asking if he's finally come to his senses, saying surely he knows who he is. Peru gets scared, and Yurun says that if he wants to live, he'd better answer properly, asking who ordered him to put poison in his food. Yurun tells him that he can blink once if it's correct, and if it's not to blink twice, asking him if he understands. Peru blinks once, and Yurun says this is good. And he asks him again who the one that poisoned his soup was, asking him if it was him. Peru realizes that he can't lie, and blinks once. Yurun then asks about the poison he fed him, saying that it was the Hanyang herb. Peru is surprised, and blinks once. Yurun says this is good, and then asks him who it was that ordered him, saying that he knows it was the second lady of the house, Kaina. He's then surprised that it wasn't, as Peru blinked twice. Yurun pulls out his dagger, saying that it would be best for him not to lie, because he can tell when he is, and if he lies, he will end up slicing his throat. He says that he'll ask him one more time, asking him if the one who ordered him was Madame Kaina. Peru panics, and blinks twice. Yurun's genuinely surprised that it wasn't, saying that it doesn't seem like he's lying, and he wonders who it was. He says that he can figure it out later, and pulls out something from his pocket, saying that he should eat and swallow this, as it's called paralytic poison. Peru does, and Yurun says that from now on, he has exactly 1 month left to live. If he doesn't take the antidote he is before then, all of his internal organs will melt away. So from now on, he'll follow his orders, asking if he understands. He just lied to this guy, but Peru doesn't know any better, and agrees. Yurun says this is good. He then puts his hand on his head, staring at the duration of the poison, and undoes it from him. He says now he should be able to move and speak. Then Peru says yes. Yurun then asks him once more who ordered him to poison him. Peru says that he already told him it wasn't the madam, and it was actually the knight captain, Karok's living Tane. Yurun's surprised, and Peru tells him that he ordered that he be killed by illness within this year. He is Kaina's older brother, who got the role of knight captain thanks to her marriage with the Marquis. So his deduction was entirely wrong. He must be her accomplice, but that's not the important part. He then hands him some paper, telling him to take this. Peru says that these are all poisons, and Yurun says that there are going to be very few people here as knowledgeable in poisons as Peru is. He says that since he's so knowledgeable, it means he can definitely procure what he needs from the black market, and to go get the money for them from Karok's, and gather every one of those poisons and bring them to him, and start with what he already has, and bring him the first bit by tomorrow night. Peru's confused, asking why he needs poison, and Yurun asks if he gave him permission to speak. Peru, realizing that he's pretty much leashed up like a dog now, says he understands. Yurun says good, telling him to leave, and then warns him, saying that from now on, his soup must always be loaded with plenty of the Hanyang herb. Peru can't believe this guy is a freak, and Yurun heads back to his room and laughs, saying this is great. Martial arts are so damn cool. To think that he actually fell for his paralytic poison, and it was just dried leaves lumped together. But he needs to quickly master the Tang clan's martial arts. If it's like the setting he wrote, a terrifying event will soon happen in the outside world. The next day comes, but we only get to see the night portion of it, and Peru comes in, saying that he's brought the herbs that he already has. Yurun stares at them, and tells him which is which. The first one is the Hanyang herb, which he's already ingested. The second one is called a yekrukpa, and then this one's wooden vein leaf. Peru asks how he's identified them all so easily, as they're not very common. Yurun says this much is nothing, and it's all because of his status window. He says that if he was trying to kill him, the Hanyang herb alone would have been enough, asking why he has the others. Peru says that the Hanyang herb takes a long time, and once resistance develops, it lasts longer than he'd think. If he starts mixing yekrukpa after the Hanyang, the effect increases. Yurun says in other words, poison gets stronger and more subtle when combined. He asks Peru how he learned all of this. Peru says that when he was 8, he was sold to the Livingtane family and trained under a poison master there. Yurun asks if there are many like him in the Livingtane. He says that at first there were around 20 children, but they all died. Only he's the survivor. Yurun says it makes sense. Kids without the poison affinity trait wouldn't last long around toxins, but this guy seems to resent the family quite a bit, so maybe he's found himself a useful tool. He tells Peru that he did great, and that's enough for today so he may go. Peru thanks him, saying that he hopes he has a good night. As soon as he leaves, Yurun says it's time to begin. Since he's only at the 20% part for stage 1 on his cultivation technique, he grabs the poisonous herbs and starts chewing them. He says he's gonna eat them all tonight, and that shit tastes like ass. He begins ingesting them all, and his cultivation technique begins to absorb all of the poison from each one of the herbs. He just continues chaining until he is actually poisoned. It tells him that he needs to meditate immediately. He begins doing so, and he says he has to level up to the second stage just to see how much of a difference it is. Night leaves and the morning arrives. There's a knock on his door. As Aaron enters, telling him that it's morning, she's then surprised because she thought he'd be asleep, as she sees him meditating on his bed. But it's not just that, as his body has completely changed. She asks what the hell is going on. We see that his overall stats have increased, and he has acquired a footwork ability, as well as more poisons such as prolonged poison, truth serum, and soul-killing smoke. He opens his eyes confidently, and Aaron asks him what's going on. She then smells something, asking if he smells it, as that smells like straight ass. He doesn't know how to explain it to her, since it's just the impurities leaving his body. He says that he should go open the window. She tells him not to, and begs that he doesn't do it. She tells him that he needs to go take a damn bath, and he says he's got it. After the bath, they're heading to the training grounds, and Yu-run is happy as hell. He's looking at the footwork, and he's got a little infographic to learn it. He says that the Tang family's footwork is perfect for fast movement, assassination, and evasion. He can't believe he gets to learn it, since he's always wanted to move like in the novels. He says just copying the movement already feels really cool, but he looks dumb as hell. Aaron barks at him, and he asks what's wrong. She asks why he's walking like he's drunk all of a sudden, wondering if he's not feeling well. He says it's fine, and it's nothing to worry about. He then continues, absolutely enjoying it, and she just starts to check out mentally. She asks if he's really okay, and he asks what she means. She says that he's going to Training Hall 1 today, and that there are a lot of knights there. He says that he already told her it's okay, and he wants to observe how the other knights train, and she shouldn't worry about it. She warns him they're almost there, and we hear the knights training, and we even start to see them, and they're using some big-ass swords. They then spot Aaron, wondering if their eyes are deceiving them, saying that's the butler of the great young lord, and they don't know who that boy is behind her, as they don't think that there was such a handsome guy in their household. They then realize, saying that they heard that the young lord lost a lot of weight, saying there's no way. They start gossiping over it, saying that he was just a pig a month ago, asking what kind of sorcery he used. Yu-run says that even if they whisper, it's not like he can't hear them, because his inner energy allows him to. Aaron then notices something, saying that even though he's only a trainee knight, his form is insanely good, and that he'll become a junior knight soon, and that these moves are the basic sword stances of the Rox family, telling him to watch closely. Yu-run recognizes him, as he is one of the main characters in his novel, and a later ally of the protagonist, named Cried. Yu-run says that he never set what he was like before meeting the hero, and it's fascinating to think that Cried was training here, and maybe this will be a good chance later. But he can already tell this is going to be not so good, because every one of the dudes are close to -100 based on how much they hate Yu-run. He says that he might as well use this as a good chance to have some test subjects. First he's going to use prolonged poison, saying that he's going to start with this JoJo character. He activates it while pointing his fingers at him, even though he's acting like he's practicing the sword. Instantly the dude's stomach starts to hurt, and he drops to his knees. They ask if he's okay, and if he needs a toilet, but he says that isn't it, as he starts drooling out of his mouth. He falls onto the floor in pain. The other dudes say they need to get him a priest. He instantly feels better, and they ask what the hell that was just now. He says he doesn't know, but the pain is gone. They ask if he's messing with them, saying that he should go shit if he needs to. He tries telling them that he swears he was in real pain, and Yu-run watches, saying that that was good, and this time he's going to try the soul-killing smoke, which creates illusions causing fear and confusion. And he does that on all three of them. As it activates below them, the one dude hears a demonic growl, as there's a demon standing directly before him. Aaron hears them freaking out, and looks over, seeing them all on the floor terrified. She asks why they're all acting like this, and Yu-run's just laughing. The JoJo guy is seeing a dragon, and the other dude's scared of skeletons. I don't know what Baldi is, maybe some hymns, or Rogaine, but he's the first to notice that it was just an illusion, and the rest wonder what's going on. And Yu-run says that he can't let this turn into real bloodshed, and this is enough testing for today, and he's pretty happy with it. He tells Aaron they can head back, and she asks why, saying that he didn't do anything. He says it's too noisy here, and they should go to the normal training hall. As they're walking over, one of the servants says that she was looking for him, telling him that a guest has arrived. He asks who, and she says that it's none other than Ilya Marquis, who is here to see him. We see her looking out the window, saying this time she will definitely break the engagement. When he enters, he spots her. She looks absolutely surprised, because he looks nothing like when she last was here, and she asks who he's meant to be. If you've watched till the end, comment, Drifter, to let me know. Subscribe for more videos like this, leave a like or a comment to help the channel out. Thanks for watching.